Hello, I'm going to do a short video here on this question here, answering this. So why is 1/4 equal to 0.25 or 25 hundredths? This is a common question from kids and from adolescents. They'll look at this and see 1 and 4, and they'll look over here and say, wow, this has a 2 and a 5. How are these even connected? And we're not going to use things like language saying that we know that a quarter, right, is 25 cents. So that's really where some of that comes from, but we're going to show conceptually why is this statement true. So I'm going to use a decimal grid. So I'm going to use the hundredths grid here. And again, when someone reads this, they'll say, I understand this part. This means take the unit, right, and make 4 equal parts, right? 1 divided by 4. So we can do that pretty easily here. I'll usually see people say, you know what, I can make a half pretty easily. So you can draw a line there. But you want to make 4 equal parts. So what I might do is something like this. You can see if you agree. Like that. Right, so I can look at this and say these two are equal, right? But then you'd have to pull the same kind of stunt up here. So there's definitely more than one way to do this. And so you'd have that. So if you think going back to our question, this is one way to show 1/4. So this is our grid, right, that represents 1, and we made 4 equal parts. So that means the answer to the question would be one of these piles, right? So you could shade any one of these. I'll just shade this one because it's convenient. So this here is 1/4, what we're shading. And you'll notice now, because this is the hundredths grid, right, each square here represents 1/100th, and you can count them pretty easily. We have 10, 20, 25, right? So we actually have, when we look at this, 25 hundredths. So that's pretty much going to take us to the answer. So if we think about this now, what we've just shown is that 1/4 is the same as this, right? 25 hundredths. So literally what we're talking about counting here is we're counting these, right? So this here is equal to 1/100th. And what we're saying here is we want 25 of them. So if you take this quantity and you replicate it 25 times, you get this. Right? So you can think about this in an additive fashion, right? You take this number 25 times, right? After you get to your 10th one, this will look like 1, 0 in this spot, but you do that 25 times and you'll get this. And that's finally the conclusion, right? Because all of this began with 1/4, right? And we shaded that, and now we're able to show that it's actually equal to 0.25.